And then the sixth build day was 4th grade. And so they were my last build day. And they just came in and they just changed the whole playground. They took things apart, they repurposed things. There was 3 boys that just wanted to hit things with hammers. They just wanted to demolish whatever they could. And so we were like, that's completely fine, go for it. And so, to have adults sitting there watching you just attack something with a hammer was something they'd never gotten before. And it was completely fine because they were engaging with the space. They were taking down things that weren't being played with anymore. And, that was their contribution, and that was completely fine. And so as far as my data collection, I got a lot of their reflections in my thank you letters to the teachers. I asked them, if you have 5 minutes in your lesson plan, please sit down with your kids and talk with them about what they learned, what their experience was. And so I actually put out some of the kids' reflections on your desks. And so you can trade them, pass them around, read them if you would like. But my best, either way, y'all can take them too. But at the end of my best data collection was actually just walking around and talking to the different kids as they were building. And so I would go up to them and I would say, hey, what are you working on? But I wouldn't immediately jump to help them. I would offer my help if I saw that they were doing something that wasn't going to get them anywhere, but I stepped back and let them, ask, okay, I want help with this, before just, doing it for them, because otherwise they'll just try to emulate what I'm doing. And as you can see in a lot of the reflections, one of the things that they point out is the adults didn't try to help me. They didn't tell me what to do. They didn't give me a bunch of rules and directions. And they were perfectly fine. No one got hurt. There was a kindergartner that reminded me to put on my safety goggles. And they were very safe. They reminded each other. And I didn't necessarily tell them to do that. And they were completely fine. I showed them how to hammer a nail and then sent them off. Said, don't step on a snake. That's a bad idea. And so in the end, what I learned is that teachers and students were empowered in the end, because teachers were able to step back and actually see what their kids were capable of doing without them, stop doing that, do this, do that, and see the skills that kids have that, some kids might not be as into the classroom experience, but they operated really well in this situation where they could operate with their own means. And I also learned that lack of control is completely okay, because other people, first graders, they were problem solving. They wanted to nail a wildflower to a piece of wood, and I would have used tape, but they just tied the stem in a knot and nailed the knot, and it worked. But it's not how I would have gone about it, but they were able to problem solve it on their own, and they got that experience. And so also I think a lot of the adults that engaged in the project learned that it's okay to supervise, but that's different than directing. And that was hard for them, but also really interesting to see, to force themselves to step back and give kids the opportunity to just free play. And for St. Andrews, I think this was the perfect project because they're moving a lot towards experiential learning experiences, especially out in Crew Park, and also towards student-driven outcomes. And so this is a gathering space where upper school students can gather with lower school students, which we don't really have right now, and we can learn from each other, and we can engage in a real experience versus just sitting at St. Andrew's Day and smiling at each other and not seeing each other again. And so this project, this playground, gives us all a space where we can teach each other different things and learn together and help create a common bond, a common space, a common memory. And so I'm